In today's edition of Who Cares and What Happened on That Island, You Old Weirdo, disgraced former President Billy the Diddler Clinton and James Patterson have announced that they wrote another book. Wow. I assume that because I'm not a loser, that I'm not the only person that didn't know Billy the Diddler and James Patterson released a book before. Either way, it's hilarious because why? And as I squandered 2.5 minutes of my life reading this garbage article about this presumably garbage book, I couldn't help but laugh at the premise of this book. In their previous quote-unquote book, which was also a quote-unquote thriller, the president goes missing. And you guessed it, in this book, the president's daughter goes missing. And the title of the book? The President's Daughter. Wow. I know, hard-hitting, on behalf of all humans of Earth, hey, Billy the Diddler, maybe stay out of the public eye for a while, you creepy handsy weirdo. In this book, which is definitely not based on real-life events, the fictitious president, whose name is Willie Diddler, has to go to a mysterious island owned by his friend I Didn't Kill Myself, and and the main character, Willie Diddler, has to find his missing daughter by booking private massages with as many young, impressionable, not kidnapped girls as he possibly can. I know, I'm sure you're like, wow, the minds on these guys so creative, how did they come up with that? But hey, don't get your bag in a knot, because I'm sure you'll be unsurprised to know that Billy the Diddler and James Patterson's last book was the best-selling novel of 2018. Pardon me, actual Bill? All I have to say is, who the fudge is purchasing this man's books? I have to admit, though, I'm thankful for the review that was written in the preposterous Post, the Washington Post, where garbage dies in the light, about this supposed book. The book reviewer in the preposterous Post says, and I quote, "It would be unfair to say there's no suspense in The President's Daughter. Again and again, I was on the edge of my seat wondering, can this story get any sillier?" He goes on to say, the chapters are so short, you could read one in a yawn. It's so refreshing to finally see some hard-hitting journalism from the Washington Post. In the book, the former president is enjoying retirement in New Hampshire and, quote, chopping wood and beating younger, muscle-bound Secret Service agents in canoe races across the lake. Excuse me, Bill? First of all, what? And second of all, what? Considering that James Patterson is a world-famous author who sold more than 300 million books, and Billy the Diddler is just a impeached former president, current and past diddler, I can't imagine what contribution he made as the, quote, co-author of this book. I think it's probably pretty safe to assume that he had nothing to do with the writing of this book, but I would like to imagine him and James Patterson just sitting around the writer's table with a bunch of teenagers going, make the daughter have large breasts. And James Patterson being like, that's not weird at all, it's fine. Billy the Diddler being the co-author of this book is like Nicole Brown Simpson being the co-author of If I Did It, Confessions from the Killer, an actual real book co-authored by O.J. Simpson. It was like that guy with the goatee being the co-author of NSYNC. We all know it was JT, let's be honest. It's like Ringo Starr being the co-author of the Beatles. Calling this book a thriller is like calling Shanghai Joe a president. It's like calling Jimmy Kimmel a comedian. It's like calling the New York Times a newspaper. It's like calling CNN the most trusted name in news. It's like calling AOC self-aware. It's like calling Dr. Jilly a doctor. It's like calling Demi-Glaze They Votto relevant. It's like calling Andrew Cuomo a leader who is definitely hydrated and also not an owl. It's like calling Dr. Anthony Garbchi honest. But hey, don't worry guys, the suspense is over because the book was released today, and this 528-page book has 136 chapters, which makes for a whopping 3.8 pages per chapter. Chapter 1. Former President Willie Diddler is sitting at the kitchen table with a burly Secret Service agent whose hair is just quite right. He's reading Teen Vogue and he's definitely not at half-mast. His well-proportioned, top-heavy, attractive daughter walks into the room dripping with sweat from her workout in the woods alone with her boyfriend. Willie exclaims with a gasp, I'll be back on Saturday. I'm just going to take a short jaunt down to the islands with my friend Didn't Kill Himself on his plane, the Of Age Express.